While Barack Obama plans to get tough in the world's largest economy, the rest of the world is also edging closer to a clampdown on banks. The IMF is calling for a global bailout tax on the industry, and finance ministers and central bankers gather in Washington today and tomorrow to discuss it. Poppy Trowbridge reports.
That's not the sound of profit. It's the sound of a tax the IMF wants these banks to pay. A tax, it says, for their own good, so they can put money aside now to pay for any future rescues.
The general point is that regulation is needed. Regulation may slow down a bit the growth of the financial sector, but we think it is for the better, and we think that it should not stand in the way of healthy growth.
Governments, central banks and taxpayers provided $11 trillion in bailout money during this recent crisis. Now the IMF wants to impose a risk levy on their liabilities, profit and compensation. Some lawmakers even insist the banks stump up additional cash to reimburse the taxpayer and fund schools, hospitals and other public services. A global agreement may not be easy. In the US, Democrats are in favor, but there's resistance from Republicans, and Canada is also skeptical. Here in Europe, French and British governments support the tax, but one of Switzerland's biggest banks, Credit Suisse, warns the levy could slash profits across the industry by as much as 20%. That's also why some of London's financiers are far from convinced.
All the world's governments have faffed around looking for the perfect solution, and it's not there. And it isn't going to come through taxation. You have to worry, whether you're in the United Kingdom or in the EU, would that just become general taxation, and would people conveniently forget that it was done for the banking industry?
The IMF makes its final recommendation in June. And so, banks like these, here in the City of London, may have to pay up. But only time will tell whether that'll deter their risky behavior in the future. Poppy Trowbridge, Bloomberg News.